we doing today? We get to the right thing over here. Okay.
Yeah, and you just reminded me to fix my canvas, so I guess I'll do that super fast. No, I did not have it off. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, welcome to Liminal Echoes, where we will dive into creepy stories, intriguing mysteries, and tales that are so strange they just might blur our perception of reality. I'm Fox.
And I'm Kira. Thanks for joining us on episode 7. Today I'll be telling you about the only unsolved skyjacking in American history. A man who leapt from a passenger train. Train? It was not a flying train. I started thinking of the Train Fact song. I'm so sorry. Um, Today I'll be telling you about the only unsolved skyjacking in American history. A man who leapt from a passenger jet into a stormy night with $200,000 in cash and vanished without a trace. The legend of D.G. Cooper, the Sky Pirate.
D.B. Cooper?
D.B. Cooper. Did I say P?
You said G.
No, I did not. There is no G. I said D. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I was not that far off. Goodness.
Yes, well, first let me remind our viewers that we are going to be recording this episode live, so we'll have to wait till the end to read your chats until Kira finishes her story.
Yes, and I chose this topic because Alex specifically asked for it. While we specialize in mystery, this story will hopefully be solved enough to satisfy you. And I even have an audio bite, and I forgot to send it to you. But I have it here. I'm going to drop it into my thing, and I'm going to send it to you as well so you can play it.
And we can add it to the Spotify too.
Any
Yes.
way that you can pick a case
Okay, so I
that
just brought
has
up the
an
little dot,
answer.
and I don't know
Me
if y'all are
not
hearing
knowing,
it.
and
You
like
are
you
hearing
keep,
it. Oh
I keep
no.
getting hyper investigated
Yeah.
into everything you
No,
bring
they
up
are.
because I'm like, this is so interesting.
Oh,
But I'll never.
Okay,
Is there
wait.
any way that you can pick a case that has?
Do you just want to listen to it then? And I will send it so we can add it into the Spotify
yeah.
since it's on Discord. Okay, I'll wait for you to hear it till you have it pulled up so you can hear. Yeah, say when.
One second.
Dang, I knew there was something I was forgetting. I had saved it and clipped it and everything. It was the only thing I hadn't done.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Is there any way that you can pick a case that has an answer? I just keep not knowing, and like I keep getting hyper investigated into everything you bring up because I'm like, this is so interesting, but I'll never know the truth, and that's the worst. Is there any way that you can pick a case
Oh
that
no.
has an answer?
Okay. Yeah. So that's the audio clip. I thought y'all'd appreciate that.
That's amazing.
So my face got hurt, so it was really funny. Uh so Alex, I hope you appreciate this.
Yes. Although you did say it was unsolved. So
Yes, it is unsolved, but I feel like this is as close as we can get. But so anyway, today I will be telling you about the only unsolved skyjacking, like I was just telling you about the legend of DB Cooper. And on that note, we're gonna move forward. Okay, Portland Airport, 1971, November 24th, the day before Thanksgiving, which here is in 2 weeks. So how funny! A man in a dark suit and raincoat steps into Portland International Airport. He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle cash, $20 for a short flight. He gives his name as Dan Cooper.
that's crazy. It was only $20 to fly.
Right? Isn't that so weird to think about? I'm like,
It's exponentially higher nowadays.
yeah, and it makes sense though, since they're going, he's going from Portland to Seattle. $20
I
makes
guess,
sense. Why isn't it
yeah,
always
that's not far.
$20?
Yeah, that should be a standard.
Why isn't that a thing?
Yeah, people could commute
Oh,
so much quickly, so much more
so
quickly.
much quickly. Nope, keep it in.
Yes.
So much quickly. Hello, camera. Would you like to pay attention to my face, maybe? Hello, thank you. Okay, sorry about that. We're back. He boards Northwest Orient Flight 305, a Boeing 727 bound for Seattle. Inside, he's polite, composed. He takes seat 18 Charlie, lights a cigarette, and orders a bourbon and soda. Flight attendants remember him as calm, even charming.
Also, wild behavior that you could smoke on a plane.
I know,
Like,
because
like just cigarettes. Just I couldn't imagine. I would die.
even not knowing that it's bad for you, in what realm have you not been around people smoking cigarettes? The people that don't understand why that's horrible. Because even as a smoker, when I was smoking, I didn't like being in a closed room of smoke. I wanted
Yeah.
a ventilated space. Like I didn't like the airports in, I think it's the German airport. Some of the airports in Europe, they have smoking sections. I think there might be some in the States, but I remember. Either way,
Yeah. Most of the states, it's like a patio that you have to go out to.
yeah, but
There's
it's
definitely not
not in the
any indoor
terminal.
space.
Yeah,
Right.
but in Europe, they have like little glass rooms in the terminal. And you can go in there and like plexiglass, and you go in there and smoke and stuff. But it's horrible in there. It's awful.
I think it's funny that the ones at U.S. airports are just an outside space that you have, access to, because you think about when it's freezing cold or raining. Like,
Hmm.
we don't care about you smokers. You would just not smoke, then you could be in here and warm and cozy with the rest of us.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, the ones here, that area is not typically past security. So you can't, on a layover,
Yeah.
go smoke.
Okay. Right.
Right. But there
I
you
didn't think about
could.
that.
Yeah, in Europe you can. And at some airports, you can.
Crazy.
Yeah, you just go in a little plexiglass box and you smoke and then you go to your next flight. And it's horrible, is the point. So yeah, this guy's on a plane. Ridiculous. Charming, evidently, but ridiculous. A few minutes after takeoff, one of them, Florence Schaffner, passes by his row. He hands her a note. At first, she slips it into her pocket without reading it. In those days, it wasn't unusual for passengers to hand flirtatious notes to flight attendants. The airline industry of the early 1970s often subjected these women to rigid appearance standards and casual harassment, part of a toxic environment that treated their professionalism as secondary to charm. She assumes it's another come on and keeps walking. Then the man leans forward to her and says softly, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb."
Oh shit. That took a turn.
Yeah, I just had crazy deja vu. I'm so sorry. It was so
It went
strong.
from bigotry, or not, is it bigotry?
No.
Sexualism to to murder or death by bombing. Okay.
Ma'am.
Yeah.
let,
Ma'am.
let me just recoup. Hold on. Let's reset because I
Broke my
also,
brain.
yeah.
I was not ready.
It's like, I just rememred it's fine that we're goofy because we're going to clip things anyway.
Right.
Okay. So here we are resetting.
Also, that is a wild limo. It's crazy long. It looks more like an ambulance car than a limo.
Limo? Oh, we're out. Oh my God, you're
In
right.
the
We're so
airport
far.
picture.
We're so far. Right. We're at the international airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like we're using your video.
Okay.
So here we are at the airport. And then here's another image of the plane. Okay. I have a bomb. When she returns to his seat, he gestures for her to sit beside him. Quietly, he cracks open the briefcase, just enough for her to see a neat bundle of red cylinders connected by wires to a small battery. He speaks softly, calm, and polite, almost businesslike. Whatever was inside, it was enough to convince her that he was serious.
Yikes.
The sitting next to me being so calm, I'm like, ugh.
Oh man, she must have been so panicked. I for sure would be. I mean, I know they have like, I don't know if they did then, but now they have like super training for how to deal with situations like this. I couldn't imagine.
Oh yeah, and this is 1971.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he hands her his demands, $200,000 in cash, 4 parachutes, and a fuel truck ready when they land in Seattle. No drama, no panic, just precision. The flight crew relays the message to air traffic control. The FBI mobilizes immediately. In the cabin, passengers remain completely unaware, told only that there's a mechanical delay. And as the hours pass, the hijacker keeps his composure. He drinks another bourbon, smokes, and makes small talk. He even pays for his drink and asks for change.
Wait. Hours? I
Yeah,
thought this was just like a quick hop from Portland to Seattle. Why are they in the sky for hours?
because they're saying now they can't land because they think there's a bomb. So
Oh,
now
and
they're like,
they don't
we
want to
have a
lose
mechanical
the
delay.
airport.
Yeah, so they're saying basically that like the wheels won't come out or something. They're saying we can't land.
We have a technical issue. Okay.
Right,
Okay.
but they're like, we have plenty of fuel. We're fine because we were expecting just a quick trip. We have way more than enough, so we're just gonna keep doing our thing. Y'all calm down. It's fine. We'll figure this out. And during this, the guy buys a drink after having said this. It is so calm and so in the scene and stuff. To imagine everyone else, like the
Oh
staff,
no,
knowing,
I would still be panicked though.
yeah,
I'd be like, okay, he told me that for the rest of the flight, I'm right here because if anybody sees me, they're gonna see it all over my face.
right. I'm like, how do you maintain just pure sanity? How do you function?
I
What
would
do
be
you
so
mean
scared.
I'm supposed to be fine? I'm supposed to be just chill. What are you saying to me?
Mistakenly handing people their coffee.
Oh, here you go. Here's your change, sir. Oh,
Are you
sorry.
okay? I'm just really cold. It's fine.
I know it's 80 degrees in here, but
Right. And
uh,
sweating.
right.
Just dripping sweat, mascara all over my face.
Because it's been so long. She's had to deal with this secret for so
Oh my
long.
gosh.
But by nightfall, the plane lands at Seattle Tacoma Airport. Floodlights glare across the tarmac. The FBI delivers the money and parachutes 4 bundles, 2 mains, 2 reserves. 4 parachutes. One of the reserves, later discovered, had been sewn shut for instruction only. So that's crazy to think about.
What? So they're landing in Seattle. They're planning to take off again?
Right. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, and it's important, I think, that there are 4 parachutes. And
Yes.
it
Why
just
are
so
there four?
right.
Because we only
So,
know about a bad guy.
right. So the thinking there is if they don't want to give you a parachute if you're a bad guy trying to leave with a bunch of money. So
Right.
what if they give you a dead parachute? What if they give
Yeah.
you but then okay, but what if I ask for 2 parachutes? They could both be duds or one could be a dud and they could 50-50. If I ask for 4 parachutes, now it looks like I'm going to take hostages because I've
So
asked
you
for the
think,
parachutes before we landed. So now it's like, "Oh, well we don't want a hostage to die, so we can't risk giving him another shitty parachute."
I see.
Yeah. But it turns out one of
So,
them was a dud anyway because it was an instructional one.
oh my gosh.
Mhm.
So, so are there four bad guys or is? Oh, okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
watch. I'm gonna listen. I am so. I need to know.
Right. They don't know anything. So they land. We're here. Cooper releases all 36 passengers and 2 flight attendants, and he keeps the remaining crew aboard. Captain William Scott, First Officer Bill Rataxak. I tried to figure that out. Okay. Flight Engineer Harold Anderson, and 1 attendant, Tina McLeod. And she is the one who he interacted with initially. Okay.
Okay.
So on board now, we have Captain, First Officer, and the attendant, Tina. So there are 3 of them and him that are left on the plane.
Okay. So all four people.
Right. He gives new instructions. Fly toward Mexico City at 10,000 feet.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. There's 4 flight people and him. That's 5 people.
No.
Because you said Captain Scott, First Officer Bill, Flight Attendant Harold,
You're right.
and
And
Attendant
Tina.
Tina,
Yes. Sorry. That was
and
my
then bad
mistake.
guy.
Yes. That was my mistake, was that there was one that was not. Okay. Yes. So we have 4 parachutes, 4 people he kept on the plane, and himself. Mysterious Dan Cooper. Okay. So this is where my mind is absolutely just blown, is they land and leave again.
Yeah.
But I guess the reasoning is we can't charge in there after all the passengers have gone off, because what if they blow it up?
Yeah, because then your first responders are at risk.
Yeah, and
That
then
makes sense.
and it's better if the plane takes off and blows up than if it blows up there on land.
Yeah, but you're still losing 4 people.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess I didn't really have SWAT
versus
back then, so
right.
man.
So, yeah. But so he gives new instructions. Fly to Mexico City at 10,000 feet, flaps at 15 degrees, gear down, and the rear stairs lowered. The route will include a refueling stop in Reno. Super specific, very specific. At 7:40 p.m., they take off again into a storm, rain lashing, wind surging through the mountains.
So he's really familiar with flight
Mm-hmm.
instructions to know, okay. I
And
wonder if
it's
he's like
storming.
military. Interesting.
Right. So there's a horrible storm, and they're like, fly, here are the directions. And could you imagine? I'd be like, I don't want,
Right.
no, I don't think I could do that. I would not
Don't want to do
normally.
that.
Yeah. I don't get paid enough as it is to do that. But
Yeah.
like, and I make good money, like as a pilot, I don't make good money.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure the female flight attendants didn't either.
Right. So at 8:13 p.m., so they've taken off. It's been just over 30 minutes since they took off
Mhm.
again. A light flickers on the control panel. The rear air stairs have dropped. The crew feels a sudden shift, a bump, a rush of air, a momentary dip in cabin pressure. And when they look back, Cooper's gone.
What the heck?
Mm-hmm. No parachute, no radio call, just darkness, rain, and the hum of engines fading toward Reno.
Huh?
They didn't hear the parachute. They didn't hear the
But
parachute.
But how many parachutes do they have left? How do you hear a parachute? People usually like get pretty far away from the plane before they
Yeah,
deploy.
I think so too. I think it's just that they weren't expecting the stairs to suddenly drop out. So I think I actually have that in one of them. I'm
I
scrolling
wonder
through.
if
So, okay. So if you go to slide 13. So in the
okay.
back bottom section, that dropped out.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that's perfect. I can see your little arrow. So, like, here is where everyone
Yeah.
is at the front. And then
Yeah.
suddenly he's just like bloop, coming out of the little poop chute back here, which I think I
What the
also
heck?
show. Yeah. Then I also show
So
that.
how the heck did he sneak away from everybody? There's nobody else on the plane.
Exactly. And you
So
can kind of see it in, I guess, 4 as well. And 2. I guess 2 might be the best. So just
Suspicious.
behind the wheels, yeah, is the drop that comes down in the stairs. And it's like, they're only like 3 or 4 stairs.
Okay. Yeah, it's like a loading bay ramp kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's small. Relatively small. But by dawn, hundreds of FBI agents, soldiers, and volunteers converge on the woods near Ariel, Washington. This is the area they're predicting that he must have landed. They search riverbanks, timberland, open fields, nothing. No parachute, no footprints, no Cooper.
Crazy.
The media gets hold of the story, but in the confusion, a misreported alias appears in print, D.B. Cooper, and the name sticks. Within days, the polite man in the dark suit becomes a folk hero. Yeah, that drives me nuts. His name's not even
Why?
DB. It's not even DB.
But
That makes me so angry.
and why is he a folk hero for stealing money?
Right? And so that's where the story
And
goes
then
after this. And it's very, I don't, why?
and then jumping apparently to his death because he didn't take a parachute.
Mhm.
I have the questions.
Right. So I watched in one of the documentaries the way someone made it sound. My
Mhm.
interpretation is that he kept the parachutes. So he had them all.
Like all of them?
Yeah. So they don't know, I guess,
Huh.
where all of them
I
are.
wonder if maybe he jumped with 2 of them hoping that they were good and then okay, anyway.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
I'm like, what if he had a bag of just several of them? I don't know. I don't know. Dub. I'm so sorry. Normally I wouldn't respond to chat and stuff, but this was a yes, queen, and so I have to put my crown on.
It's important.
Yes, I can't leave that going. Jack cheated. Said you will acknowledge me. Okay.
For shame.
Yes. So we'll have to leave the explanation on YouTube at least why I'm suddenly wearing a crown is that Jack wanted me to wear a crown. They'd be like, wow, this is weird. This is a weird cut. And she's suddenly wearing a crown.
Switch to Kira crown.
Yeah. Okay. Woo-hoo.
Bless you.
Today's a goofy episode day. I don't know what happened. It's Looney Tunes Day. So they made up the name DB. It's like it got overheard wrong or something. It's weird. I don't know why they ran with DB when it was Dan. They know it's Dan. The ticket, when he got the ticket, said Dan, paid for it in cash, went up the counter, $20, wrote down. They like have the little ticket thing. It says Dan Cooper.
I bet it was just a typo because, I mean, you figure you missed the A and you accidentally hit the B instead of the N, and then you have DB. So I was just like, oh, well, somebody typed it weird and made both uppercase, and Bob's your uncle. Or DB.
That's true. Well, the titles were all in uppercase, right?
Interesting. Usually, yeah.
How weird. I don't know. I hadn't considered that. But over the next few weeks, the FBI runs down every lead. They mark every bill, every parachute, every report of a man bragging in a bar, but not $1 turns up. No one suspect fits.
Interesting.
Yes. So,
where did he disappear to?
For years, the case drifts into myth until 1980. It has been 9 years.
Wow.
Yes, so we're not.
That's unbelievable.
Right.
How did he just vanish?
I know. We are okay on the map. So on the Columbia River, a boy named Brian Ingram digs into the sand and finds $5,800 decaying $20 bills. Serial numbers match Cooper's ransom. The money had been buried miles from the supposed drop zone, and its condition suggested that it had been underwater.
Wow. What?
Mm-hmm. So forensic scientists later find diatoms, which are microscopic algae on the bills. They're springtime species, meaning the money likely entered the river months or even years after the hijacking. It's a clue that deepens rather than solves the mystery. So now we have...
So we know he survived.
Yeah, and that the money existed and then later was wet.
But that's only a really small portion of what was taken, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 5,800 from 200,000. Exactly. Yeah. That seems like throw off my trail kind of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 2 years before that discovery, hunters near Castle Rock, Washington, found a small plastic instruction placard from a Boeing 727's aft stairs. And it had likely become detached during the hijacking. And it was just a rare, like, tangible trace of Cooper's flight through the storm. That's so cool. What if his, like, shoelace got caught and, like, ripped it off? It's like on the way down. What if he tripped and that's how it broke off?
Maybe.
Because that was a break off. What'd you do?
I don't know. That's nuts.
Yeah. That is just an unfortunate. The guy's like, God damn it. This has been difficult enough. But the FBI searches every possibility, and the file grows to over 60 volumes. But no body, no gear, no definitive trace that the man ever existed or appeared in the first place. But before investigators began naming suspects, one intriguing clue appeared in his chosen alias, Dan Cooper. That name also belonged to a Franco-Belgian comic book hero, a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot known for parachuting adventures and skybound missions. The comic series, never widely distributed in the U.S., was popular among European and Canadian airmen, and some theorize the hijacker may have encountered the stories while serving abroad and adopted the name as a subtle homage to that fictional aviator.
Or maybe he was from abroad,
That also.
and that's why nobody here made the connection.
Hmm. So it's assumed he's American because he spoke with an American accent. That's assumed. So, but in the comics, Dan Cooper was a Cold War era hero, brave, disciplined, and patriotic, often depicted outwitting enemies high above the clouds, in the plains and whatnot. And for some cultural historians, this detail reflects the early 1970s mood, which is a time of post Vietnam cynicism when a man stepping outside the system could feel both rebellious and romantic. The hijacker's choice of name might have symbolized that tension, a blend of military precision and anti establishment daring, just like
Okay.
Dan Cooper.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, man, it's really interesting how they're making that connection. Um, I don't doubt that he is a well-traveled person, but I do kind of feel like he was maybe from overseas, and because if he was European, anybody can fake an American accent. Well, I say anybody. Maybe I don't know.
A lot of people fake American accents. And there are
Yes,
many American accents.
it's true.
So, but over the years, dozens of suspects emerged, each with their own story and with their own following. Richard McCoy, a Vietnam veteran and pilot, hijacked a plane just months later using nearly identical tactics: a note, a grenade, a demand for cash and parachutes. He's caught within days, though, escapes from prison, and is later killed with a shootout with the FBI. Many draw parallels, but handwriting and physical evidence just don't match, so the Bureau ends up ruling him out.
Okay, so he's just a copycat
Right? Isn't that weird?
hijacker.
He just does the
Yeah,
same thing.
that's very interesting.
Hmm. But then there's Robert Rackstraw. And some of you may have seen the podcast. A lot of you probably, if you listen to this, have probably seen the podcast. Hello, the docuseries on Netflix. It's very short. There's a lot of controversy there, and if you don't know, you should just go watch it because there's a lot, and you can draw your own opinions. And I will not, as that one woman said, risk my it wasn't a burp. She said risk her reputation by confirming whether she believed one way or the other. But
Okay.
so Robert is an ex soldier, con man, and master of reinvention. Journalists spend years connecting his timeline, decoding letters, even overlaying his photo with FBI sketches. But the FBI continues to find no conclusive proof.
Yeah,
Sheridan
I imagine.
Peterson, you imagine?
I was gonna say, I imagine that they wouldn't, with that back then they didn't have like they weren't really good at picking up like DNA and hair and uh, then plus with all the people coming in and going off the plane, how would you know that you got the accurate stuff
Right.
unless you tested it against everybody that was on the plane? Yeah,
And this is
that's interesting.
1971, so that's not even in
Right.
practice.
Yeah, they don't even have the same forensics that they do now.
Most people aren't even thinking about the possibility, and it's not a murder case.
Yeah.
So there's a lot happening. But Sheridan Peterson, an engineer and experienced smoke jumper, worked for Boeing and fit the physical role. He too denied involvement, and evidence never tied him to the case. But each suspect brings intrigue, no closure. And so the question of who D.B. Cooper really was remains suspended in air, like the man himself. When the FBI re examines the evidence decades later, they find something striking. The black clip on tie Cooper left behind contains microscopic particles of pure titanium, the kind used in aerospace manufacturing near Seattle. It hints that Cooper may have worked in or around that industry.
Why the heck did he leave his tie behind?
Hmm. And so we talked about DNA. So at this point, finally, years later, a DNA sample is taken because of the tie, but it doesn't lead to any confirmed identity. Thousands of samples are compared, but nothing matches. So I
He's a
think
time traveler.
I think the titanium thing is really interesting.
Yeah.
But after 45
He's
years, 45 years. July 2016. So long. The FBI formally closes the active investigation.
But how?
Their statements reads that all credible leads have been exhausted. The case, Norjack, short for Northwest Hijacking, remains officially unsolved.
Why would they close the case if it's not solved?
Right. And outside the Bureau, others continue the chase, though, which is how we are where we are. Independent researchers like Tom Kay and the Citizen Sleuths Project re examine the evidence with modern technology. Chemical testing, satellite mapping, forensic diatom studies, each method narrowing possibilities but never crossing the final line. Their conclusion leads toward a somber one. Cooper likely didn't survive. The storm that night brought freezing rain and powerful winds. He jumped into rugged terrain in near total darkness. I don't want to believe
Hmm.
that.
So then, so then somebody else found the money and then buried part of it, and
Right?
that's an interesting theory.
But you think but that seems like why? Why would okay, yeah, why? Why
Well, I
though?
mean,
Just take a portion of it.
if you find $200,000 of cash in the woods, are you gonna just like next to a dead body? I, you gonna
True.
tell anybody? I mean,
If you split it too with the group, I guess that makes
mm,
sense for the smaller amount found. So
hmm.
actually, that makes me think of something else that made a new connection in my brain, but maybe I'll remember to talk about it when it's relevant. But even if he landed alive, the cold and isolation may have finished what gravity had already started. Because you think about that fall. Oh, woof, woof.
Yeah.
But and yet, there is something about him that refuses to die, much like Rasputin, which I can't wait to cover. A man unknown walking into history and disappearing. It's the perfect ghost story for an age of disillusionment. And in the years
For sure.
since Right. In the years since, D.B. Cooper has outgrown his crime. He's become a symbol of rebellion, wit, and escape. There are documentaries, books, bars, even an annual convention, CooperCon, where researchers, skeptics, and believers gather to find findings and toast the man who got away. But his
No
legend,
way.
yeah,
That's
right.
nuts.
And his legend even changed aviation itself. After the hijacking, the FAA required Boeing 727s to install a small aerodynamic latch on the rear stairs, the Cooper vane, a simple device that locks the stairs in flight, a permanent reminder of one extraordinary night. That's our echo, by the way,
That's
is the
crazy.
Cooper vane. I thought that was fascinating. But so
Yes.
the other things that I didn't end up writing about was that Rackstraw is seen as a very likely suspect for many reasons. He also had parachute experience from the military. There are
Okay.
theories that he was in the CIA, but I
That Cooper
don't.
was, or that Rackshaw was?
That Rackstraw was
Hmm.
believing that he's Cooper, and then another guy claimed to be Cooper. He was just like bragged like crazy, saying he was Cooper, and then
Yeah,
he
that doesn't make
actually
sense.
right, but this other person bragging about it told someone, supposedly, told someone in a bar, hey, that couple over there, they're going to find money on the beach. It's going to be this much money. That's proof that I'm DB Cooper. It's like this guy he'd known for years or whatever. And the entire time he'd known him, I guess when they became closer one day, he told him. And then a few days, however, it was listed at some amount of time later, that is what happened. Supposedly it's the same family.
But how did he guarantee that that couple of people would find the money?
Right. That's where I get confused about that part of the story. And I don't know, that person seemed very gung ho and very like excited about it a little too
Hmm.
much. And that's why people thought that that person might have been, but I don't think that they'd brag about it.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, he lasted so long without getting caught. Why would he do that to himself?
Right. And there
I
was
mean,
a documentary on the History Channel as well that talked about this case. And in that, what was it? They said, oh, they looked at Rackstraw and they actually interviewed the flight attendant. But when she saw him or I guess the images of that time of him. When she saw him, she said it was not him,
Okay.
which is also
Well, I
very
mean,
interesting.
she was staring at him for hours, so she would know.
You think that, but they also had the former director of disguise from the CIA on there, and she's like, they said his hair was black and greasy, and so that could mean that it had been colored and drawn back. And
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, if you're brave enough to pull this, like to do this, I feel like there's a lot of experience you got going, and there's no way you're telling anybody. You're not
For
blabbing.
sure.
You're not one of those
Yeah.
people that's going on vacation telling your full social security number to everybody who asks. Like,
Yeah, he probably disappeared into the woods and then traveled off to some foreign country.
right. And then
If he
the
survived.
right, and then the FBI part, people were trying to say he was CIA or FBI because they closed it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That kind of makes sense too. That they found out who it was and don't want that information to be released.
it's
So they just
possible.
said it was closed.
It's possible, but they also could have just it could have been handled differently. If it was a mission and they were stealing the money, why not just walk off with one of the passengers? Why does he tell
Yeah.
anybody?
Makes sense.
So he gets the money and then walks off.
Because I imagine they didn't deliver the money to the plane until he released the passengers, or did they give it to him before?
Right. So they bring the money on and then he releases everybody. It's like
Okay.
at the same time, though. There's no point where it seems he's going to hold the entire plane full of hostages.
Yeah, because he could have just changed his clothes real quick and walked off with everybody else. You're right. Interesting.
It's super weird to me. So I'm saying if it had been CIA or FBI, they would have been covered up immediately. Why would it need all of this
Yeah.
intrigue? Why would all of this follow it? And I guess there's some scene
Distraction.
evidently where Loki jumps out of a plane, and that's supposed to be an homage to this.
Interesting.
And there are a lot of things like that. But I guess the reason he becomes a folk hero is he's kind of like takes $200,000, doesn't hurt anybody, but disappears into the night and presumably is just off gallivanting with the money that he got for whatever reason.
Living his best life.
It's a relatively small heist, and like,
Yeah.
for why? We don't know the motive. We don't know who it is. We don't know anything. So, look,
I would imagine that it was the amount was significant in that it would be an amount that they could get easily and quickly. Because I mean, if he asks like for $5 million, a bank is going to have a hard time coming up with cash like that because they don't typically have cash on hand like that.
oh, and you're absolutely right, and I've thought of that too. So, what a great point is that they might know that ahead of time for some reason.
But then too, if he's traveled that area frequently, um, well, I know I assumed because of what you said about the flight attendant saying about his mannerism, that she had seen him before, but maybe not. But if he was familiar with that area and he chose that area specifically, he clearly did his research. So he had to be aware that the storms were a possibility, particularly in that time of year. So he must have been prepared for that
Right.
to jump in dangerous conditions into a dangerous area.
And his tie would suggest that he lives there. He probably
Yeah.
worked at Boeing where these planes were manufactured. So he would know how to get out of them easily and as safely as possible.
Or he was a time traveler, and that's what the titanium residue is from.
Or that.
Who knows?
That is also a possibility. Yeah, that would have been a great opportunity for the show Travelers.
Yeah,
What a missed opportunity. They could have done a DB Cooper episode.
They should have.
Because they did a plane episode, but it's an actual plane crash. It's not DB Cooper escaping without harming a single person except fear, I guess. But of what? He doesn't hurt you. It's like, that's crazy that it happened because you're like, oh my God, that doesn't happen to me. That happens to other people. But He doesn't hurt you. He doesn't do anything. He's just, I would like my money, please. Okay, could you find me this other place? Okay, thanks, bye. Just kidding. I'm not even going to get out. He just sends you south so that he can get off the plane and then moves on. But this is people's whole lives.
He wanted y'all to go on a adventure and have a little vacation after your trauma
Right.
in Mexico.
Right.
Just steal my money and send you guys on vacation.
Also, bitch, I don't have enough fucking money to get you that far. Or enough fuel to get you that far? What do you mean? You just had us run circles around this airport.
Oh, yeah. Well, but they stopped.
And then you're making me refuel.
Reno for a refuel.
Yeah. I'd be so mad.
Yeah.
Because you could lie. But he knows,
But then what
obviously.
happened to the bomb? Was it a bomb? Did he take it with him?
Took it with him. The briefcase wasn't there. Wasn't left behind. Right. There are a whole bunch of things, and it goes way, 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 way deeper. But I don't know that as much as there's a whole convention for this every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Though, that it fascinated so many people. I mean, it is a wild story. Definitely a movie I would watch, and I am so excited to go watch the documentaries about it.
Yeah, so the one on Netflix is that one's really controversial because he believes Robert Rackstraw is DB Cooper.
Guy.
For a lot of people, that is the case, that he has proven it. And there are a lot of parts where you're like, yeah, okay. But then there are a couple parts where I'm like, I see now why you don't think that, though. But it is difficult to not agree because there's so much for it than against it. But what I noticed the most watching that was, I guess the phrasing was something along the lines of, whenever you'd want to look away from Rackstraw as a suspect, you'd find something else, and you're like, oh, well, that builds on the evidence and makes it stronger. That just like makes me want to ask more questions. I'm like, yes, but that perspective means that they're guilty until proven innocent. You're waiting for something to prove them innocent. You're trying to find an alibi or something. Yes, there's no proof that he was even in this area at the time. But it's also 1971. How are you proving those things? With pieces of paper and other people's word. Right.
Yeah, because there's not video and digital footprints like there are now.
Exactly. It's very weird.
Well,
that's so okay.
Intriguing, and I love it.
Yeah.
And okay, so anything else on any other notes or news that you want to share?
I don't know. I guess to sum up, I'll say I guess that's the real ending is DB Cooper was never meant to be found. Sorry, Alex, but maybe his story endures because we need it to. A puzzle that stays just out of reach. A reminder that even in an age of surveillance and order, with cameras everywhere and DNA testing everything, mystery can still slip through the cracks. And the mystery of DB Cooper may never be solved in full, but the legend and what it says about our fascination with rebellion and escape and just curious heists and whatnot, it's already told us everything we need to know. So,
okay.
Now you know how the Cooper vein came to be. Ta-da!
Yeah. You've learned a new thing.
Yes, a thing you didn't know. Right. So, cool. Fox, do you want to go over what you're going to go talk about next week? Do you know?
Next week, we will be going over the abduction of Barney and Betty Hill.
Ooh.
Coming home from their honeymoon, they were abducted by aliens.
Oh, that's so exciting.
So make sure y'all tune in next week so you can hear all about that. And I'm looking forward to it. I've been having a great time doing all the research on this. It is intriguing. And I can't wait to share with you guys.
So until next week, stay curious.
Stay strange and keep listening for
the Liminal Echoes.
Echo.
Yeah, I think us lining up makes it better. I think it helps with the echo effect. Alrighty.
Please follow. Please follow us on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Liminal Echoes Pod, on Instagram at liminalechoes.pod, on X at liminal echoes _, or if you have any questions, comments, or story suggestions, you can always email us at liminalechoes.hiddentruths@gmail.com. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.